Well, whether or not you're a fan of ice figure skating, you probably know or at least heard of Jason Brown, who grew up in Highland Park.
Yep, Jackie Costa caught up with a two-time Olympian and national champion. And Jackie, he continues to make his mark on the sport, but in a very new way.
He really does. So Jason Brown says he still has the fire in him to compete, but not necessarily the stamina or desire to train and compete a full season. So he's trying something new, essentially splitting his time between competing and performing in shows. And he says so far it's leaving him more energized than ever.
There are definitely moments where I'll have a whoa, how did I get here moment.
There's something about when Jason Brown takes the ice.
Our next skater represents the United States of America.
You can't look away. Both athlete and artist, Brown does what the best in both worlds do. Make you feel something.
I just really believe that our sport is so special that everyone can come to the ice bringing themselves.
5, 6, 7, 8.
Woo! Wow! That's exactly what Brown encouraged a group of young skaters to do at a recent performance workshop in Glenview.
5, 6, 7.
Put aside the technical aspect for a day and learn to use the ice as a canvas for self-expression.
Everyone comes to the ice, and what they can bring to the ice is so unique and so special and so individualized that, when I step on the ice, I'm going to skate differently than the next competitor to the next competitor to the next competitor, and to really learn how to embrace that versus seeing it as this comparison.
Brown's message and the wisdom within has been earned over the course of a career that began right here on the North Shore of Chicago. A two-time Olympian and U.S. national champion, Brown burst onto the scene at the 2014 Nationals. With a performance so memorable, it went mainstream, racking up more than 1 million views on social media and making Jason Brown a household name.
They wanted to stand 2 minutes ago.
The fact that people are still talking about a program that I did 10 years ago, I realize how special that is, and I really embrace it.
Riverdance also earned him a spot on the Sochi Olympic team, where he won a bronze medal in the team event. But in 2018 came the low point, Brown says, when he missed the cut for the Pyeongchang Olympics. Still fighting to land quads in competition.
I've gone through periods of my career where I've truly felt worthless when it comes to what I brought to the sport, and feeling very devalued and feeling like, oh my gosh, it's going in a direction that I cannot keep up with.
Brown's burnout felt like a house doing the same.
By having that moment where I felt like everything basically disintegrated, I was able to kind of pick back up the pieces and kind of rebuild my house in a way. I looked at everyone and what they were doing technically, and I was like, wow, hats off to them. And I started thinking, well, then why can't I push the sport artistically? Why can't I be a voice and someone that's out there showing how beautiful and how powerful performance can be, and that aspect of our sport? And so that's what I started to do.
7, 8, 9.
His unconventional approach has led to continued conventional success, representing the U.S. once again at the 2022 Beijing Olympics. Now at 28, he's taking what works for him one step further and forging what could be a new path in figure skating, competing less, performing more.
When I do a 3-show, let's just say 6-show weekend with 5 numbers in that show, group numbers and solos, that's a really cool way of training, being out in front of an audience.
And being out in front of an audience is where Brown belongs, spinning something special out of the air and leaving in its place joy.
No, it's really special, and it will never it never get old, or it will never sink in. That.
Jason Brown really is a special figure skater, always has been. And I think Jason's story is such a good example of what we can learn about life through sports.
Absolutely.
Because he was at his lowest point, a point where he really felt worthless because he could not keep up technically with all of these other skaters who were landing several quads every single program. And so he was at his lowest, and that's where he was like, well, do I still love the sport? Do I still have something to contribute to the sport? And he did, and that's, I think, why he has this authentic power now, is because he's exactly who he should be, and skating that every time he
And one of the
gets on
lessons
ice.
right there, and you're talking about it, is don't try to copy. Find your own strengths and
Exactly.
forge ahead with those strengths.
And not tie your
Exactly.
identity to one thing
Yes.
with that. So
Yes.
great
Isn't
story,
it beautiful?
Jackie.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Love that very much.
Yeah, really inspiring.
It really is,
You know, another
yeah.
message: never give up.